Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you, Tony. Thanks for inviting me. Thank you very, very much for such a warm welcome, and thank you, Tony Kushner, for introducing me. What an honor just to shake your hand and to be in your presence. I want to especially thank my friend David Mixner, who has been so wonderful in helping me this year. I recently had a chance to honor his 30 years of work with this community and his 60 wonderful years on this earth, and I am so proud to be with him tonight. I also want to thank Frank Selvagi and Alan Van Capel, who both of them have been so instrumental in helping me work on these issues, especially in the last year. There's a lot of issues that, if I had the time, I'd like to discuss tonight in detail. I'd like to talk about the fact that we got to change this country in a way that will guarantee health care for every single American, that should be guaranteed by the United States of America. After we take over the Congress, the first week we're back, we should make sure that there is a, yes, paper trail required for all those voting machines so that our elections are valid. We should invest heavily in alternative energy, all the way from wind to solar to ethanol to biodiesel, and get away from dependence on foreign oil. We should be proud to stand up and say that we oppose the mistake that the Iraq War was and is, and the troops should be withdrawn on a timeline. It is time to get out of Iraq. And we should stand up to the President's obsession with using these years of crisis for the purpose of expanding executive power, just so he can expand executive power. The illegal wiretapping is wrong. The President should be censured at a minimum for having taken this attitude toward the laws of the United States. So, I wish I had the time to talk about those in detail. But what I want to talk to you about tonight is my home state of Wisconsin. Yes, it's America's dairyland. Yes, some of us are willing to be called cheeseheads. We will talk to you about the Green Bay Packers and Brett Favre. You can't stand it anymore. And I can give a good speech about that. But what I want to talk to you about tonight are the voters and the people of my state. Two things I want you to know. One is what they've already done. And second is the decision that they are about to make. What have they already done? They elected a legislature that in the late 1970s was the first legislature to ban and government to ban employment discrimination against gays and lesbians in the United States of America. And then in 1982, they were willing to elect about a 110-pound, 5'8" kid to the state Senate by 31 votes out of 47,000 in a rural district against a Republican incumbent. And that was me. And I came in, and one of the first votes I ever took was Wisconsin being the first state to pass the consenting adults law in the United States of America. That was one of my first votes. And the people of the state were willing to elect me to the United States Senate in 1992, knowing full well the votes I had taken on those issues and my positions on gay and lesbian issues. And then, in 1998, after I had opposed the don't ask, don't tell policy as wrong, after I had supported ENDA at the national level, and yes, after I was one of 14 senators to say no to the Defense of Marriage Act, they reelected me to the United States Senate knowing that. In fact, what I like to say is I had so many controversial votes, they never even got around to it. Nobody ever mentioned it. What's even more amazing about the people of my state is that they returned me to the U.S. Senate last year in 2004, after I had a chance to take head-on as the ranking member of the Constitution Subcommittee of the Judiciary Committee, this nasty effort to amend the Constitution. I sat through all those hearings, and I proudly helped lead the charge, not only to defeat it, to make sure they couldn't gain much support so we can kill this thing forever. So you can imagine my gratitude to the people of the state. It's a state of tolerance. We call ourselves the progressive state. That's our motto. But on November 7th, the voters of Wisconsin will be getting a tough test in terms of our progressive spirit and our progressive tradition. This is what they're about to decide. We face one of those mean-spirited constitutional amendments to ban marriage equality in civil unions. The purpose of putting it in there, apart from the general mean-spiritedness, is to try to defeat our governor, Jim Doyle, who's had the courage to veto this kind of legislation time and again. And we need to reelect Governor Jim Doyle in Wisconsin because of his courage on this issue. But when I heard that not only would this be something I would face as a legislator, as I had done for 25 years, but that somebody was going to try to put discrimination in my state's constitution, and I was going to vote on it myself as an individual in the voting booth, I decided not only would I publicly oppose this amendment, but that I would make it clear that I support marriage equality. I believe that that is right, and it should be said straightforwardly. It should be said straightforwardly in Wisconsin and everywhere in this country. Now,